Hello, my Sagittarius friends. This is Dr. Shiny for a tarot reading for you for the month of April. And I am considering whether or not I will go to 2 readings a month and do a mid-month reading as well as the beginning of the month. So please let me know what you think about that, if you think 1 month is enough, or once a month is enough, or if you would like the 2 readings. I'm going to get straight into your reading. You have, for your current situation, the Page of Swords. Page of Swords, somebody who cuts sort of straight to the point, straight to the heart of the matter. They don't mince their words. They don't beat around the bush. They believe in direct conversation as the best form of communication, or the best form of communicating their ideas and their thoughts. So that's the current situation. It's probably describing you or somebody who is just the focus of your attention, and that's not necessarily you, but probably. What's crossing you is the Ace of Wands, or what's influencing you, and this represents a sort of new path, a new opportunity for your will to become manifest in the world. So, new job, new idea for the future, a new, or possibly even just molding your ideas for the future into a more realistic vision that is visible to you, whereas it maybe just was conceptual before, that type of thing. What got you here? The past is the Judgment card. And there's this sense that you did the right thing, or somebody deserved judgment, or your situation was just supposed to change and it has, and so now you are riding the wave as the result of that judgment. And this has a positive connotation. This is not necessarily a bad thing, a scary thing, but it does deal with sort of burning the old away to make room for the new. So you may be experiencing a little bit of a feeling of loss or something like that, but it's coming with new things as well. So it's more of like a nostalgic loss than it is a painful, like, this will never have, or I'll never see it again. But anyway, for the future, what we have is the Empress, which represents grounding, an aspect of the divine feminine, which represents grounding and fertility, and it's after you've planted the seed of your dream, it kind of comes up into fruition, and you get to watch it bloom. You know what I mean? So you get to enjoy it. Grounding also deals with being very enveloped in the 5 senses, with taste and smells and things like that, really learning to enjoy yourself with the simple comforts again, with shifting your happiness from needing to be a picture and shifting it more into a feeling, which you can get just from smelling some really good cookies or something like that, right? So there's a need to sort of refocus on your sense, on your raw animal emotional states and things like that, and to back off from the grand scale for a minute. It's probably because you've either been on that grand scale for such a long time, or doing this, grounding yourself, will give you the ability to appreciate sort of the process that you're going through a little bit better. So there's that. Foundation of the situation is the Six of Swords. I'm trying to get it where the glare won't hit you. The Six of Swords is a card dealing with painful yet positive transitions. So this is something that is not necessarily easy. It's a little bit of a burden, but it's something that is leading you to a much better off place, a much happier place. So it's just like, you got to take your lumps with life, you know what I mean? But there's not a negative connotation to this whatsoever. I don't see a negative connotation. I see a tired theme here. So there may be a sense of being exhausted, or that you've been fighting for quite a while for whatever this vision is. But it's also, I see a time where you can sort of sit back and watch things construct a little bit, watch things come to being, and people, there's a ball rolling, there's momentum, so people are going to keep it going. You don't have to focus on it quite as intently as you have. You can kind of sit back and take a breath for a second, you know. But on your, in your higher thoughts, in your conscious mind, I have the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups represents near the end of a completion of cycles where you have finally recognized that your dream is coming true, and you sort of sit back for a second and just you're awestruck, you're almost frozen, you're almost, it's borderline depressed, to be honest with you, but it's just like a moment where you're taking it all in. You know what I mean? You're just taking it all in, and it's a good thing to feel. To be sure, it has its purposes, that emotion, but also be sure that it doesn't prevent you from paying attention to the current situation that you're in by really being there, focusing on the moment, because the moment is the experience, not just where the moment is headed, you know. So learn to appreciate what you're going through and to live fully in the moment, not just thinking about how this moment is going to lead you to the future. Your advice for the current situation is the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is a character who is in control of her emotional state to the point to where she can decide that she's going to display a specific emotional state, even if it's not necessarily the one that she's feeling inside, because it's a form of communication. It's a form of influence. It's a form of showing the other person how you want them to act, almost like people would say in a negative context that this is basically manipulation, right? But manipulation doesn't have to be a purely selfish act. Parents manipulate their children all the time, right? You try to manipulate your children into learning certain lessons or to becoming wiser, and we all do that. So it's not necessarily what you do, it's how you do it. So manipulation becomes a bad thing when you are trying to fool people for your own benefit, to get something out of them, or to essentially commit a crime or something like that to them. So that's when manipulation becomes a bad thing. But in a good context, this is sort of influencing other people to follow their dreams, influencing other people to be better people, you know, that type of thing. Those are win-wins. Those are positives situations. So it's about wisdom, and it's about having some self-confidence and some fortitude to do the right thing, regardless of how it could help you. You know what I mean? So that's your advice for the current situation, is just have some fortitude, and know that even if you feel in one way, it may help for you to display those emotions in a controlled manner, you know. Your environment is the Eight of Coins. This indicates that there's some apprenticeship. So in your environment, people are hard at work. They are working away at some vision. They're trying to get to some goal themselves. They're apprentices moving to their idea of heaven. And very busy connotation with this card. Things are in motion. Little worker bees are working away, typing away, that type of thing. That's your current environment. Your Fears card is the Justice card. Now, this one is a little ambiguous for me. So it could mean that you're afraid that you've done something wrong and that justice is coming. It could be afraid of that. You could be afraid of that. You could be afraid that you are sort of enacting injustice on people, right? You could feel that maybe you're the boss and you've got to tell them something, and you feel like it's injustice. You feel like it's going to store up some bad karma for you or something like that. But you have to recognize that people in those situations, they have more than one method to get where they're going. And working for a big corporation like yours or something like that may not be where they really needed to be to get to their goal. That may have been just a temporary thing anyway, you know. So this is, and to make that more broad, what I'm trying to say is that don't fear how you're following your dreams might dash some of the dreams of other people, because you're probably, if that's how the situation is, you're probably merely teaching them that their dream is not quite where they thought it was. You're merely just sort of helping them find their true direction. So don't be afraid of the justice process. Don't be afraid of people getting what's coming to them, that kind of thing. Because people dig their own graves and they need to learn lessons from doing that. You can't save or shelter someone from everything. You can try to be a friend to some people, but that's not your responsibility for a complete stranger or something like that, or somebody that is a business associate or something. You know, you get what I'm saying. There's a fine line. You can't stick your neck out for everybody else. Sometimes you've got to let them get what's coming to them. For the overall situation, I have the Emperor, which is cool because you also had the Empress in your future. So this is saying that there's going to be in your future, through this, or not necessarily in your future, but through this situation, through what's going on here, there's going to be a good balance of the masculine and feminine aspects, a really matured relationship between the two. So that may be between two people. It could also be between two aspects of your own personality or psyche. But for whatever reason, you've moved toward the grounding, or you're moving toward the grounding in the future, and by doing that, you're going to also be increasing your ability to balance more of that masculine aspect, which gives you some direction, which gives you some power, some authority, some ability to sort of manipulate the environment the way that you see fit. And that's kind of cool that your advice would be in the Queen of Cups, because what it's really saying is that there's like a wave that I see in the reading where it's like balance more feminine aspect with more masculine aspect, then more masculine aspect with more feminine. And it's saying to continuously mix these, that there's people doing the work for you. So by finding this cycle, by finding this pattern of growth, you're going to be able to propel yourself a lot further than you have been in the past. You've been sort of stagnant compared to the energy that you're coming up upon, right? So pretty good reading, not too long of one today, but if you have any questions or you'd like me to explain anything further, please let me know and I will try to help you. Until next month, I will see you guys later.